page 337, page 338, page 339. Distinguished Senator Bima Mohammed Enagi, move for the approval of divorce and proceedings, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Bima Mohammed Enagi. I represent the people of Niger South from Niger State. I rise to move the motion for the adoption of the votes and proceedings of Thursday, 27th of October. 7th of November, 2019. I so move.
Distinguished Senator Michael Nachi. Second for the approval of the votes and proceedings.
Second.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Nachi Michael Ama, representing the people of Boy South. I move to second the motion moved by Senator Ningi that the votes and proceedings of Thursday, 7th November, therefore be fully adopted and approved. Thank you.
Well, I don't think we have a Senator Ningi in this Senate, but we understand what you mean. All right, Bima, yes. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the votes and proceedings of Thursday, 7th November 2019 be approved, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. The votes and proceedings of Thursday, 7th November 2019 is hereby approved. The 9th of November 2019 was the birthday of one of our colleagues, very distinguished Senator Theodi Oji Uchendu, Global. We wish you a very happy birthday, long life, prosperity, and many more years of service to our fatherland. Today, the 12th of November, is the birthday of Senator Ibrahim Yaya Olorogbe. On behalf of the Senate, I wish you a very happy birthday. Is he around? I can see you are growing younger. We wish you a very happy birthday, long life, prosperity, and many more returns of today. I wish to acknowledge the presence of members of Rotary Friendship Exchange Team from Wisconsin, USA. They are here to observe the Senate proceedings of today. You are welcome. Please be seated. We wish you a very fruitful observation of our proceedings today. Similarly, I wish to acknowledge the presence of members of the Department of Political Science and Administration, Adamawa State University, Mobi, Adamawa State, who are also here to observe our proceedings of today. You are welcome. You may sit down. I wish you a very fruitful observation. And of course, last but not the least, I wish to acknowledge the presence of staff and students of Victory Baptist High School, Kefi, Nasarawa State, who are in the gallery to observe Senate proceedings today as well. You are welcome. Please be seated. I wish you a very fruitful observation of Senate proceedings today. Petitions. Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues. I rise first to
Point of order, Senator Olu Odebi.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, my name is Tolu Odebi, and I represent the people of Ogo West. Mr. President, I rise under Article 42, and if I may, I would appreciate reading it. It says, matter of urgent public importance. The matter for discussion shall, if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of the day's sitting, and the President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claim unless he is satisfied that the matter is definite and urgent. If the claim is allowed by the President of the Senate and the leave of the Senate is given by at least 1/5 of all the senators, the matter shall stand over to the next legislative date. Not more than one such motion shall be made at the same sitting. So I rise under Article 42, and if you permit me, I read, President.
I would like to permit you, but I don't know what it is because you didn't tell me anything before.
About 20 kilometers to the border, and that cannot run.
Okay, I will put the question, and if it is affirmed by at least 1/5 of senators present, then you can take it the next legislative day. You can sit down. So, distinguished colleagues, those in favor of his motion, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. You take it tomorrow. Secretariat, take note. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, I will first start, Mr. President, by coming under Order 1B, which states that in all cases not provided for in the hearing after, or by sessional or other orders or practice of the Senate shall by resolution regulate its own procedure. This is in order to get the permission of the President and the permission of the distinguished members of the Senate for an amendment to be made in the present order paper. That amendment is by way of bringing in the consideration of the report, which is the last but one page, to come in after the presentation of the bills and before the setting of the motion. It's just an amendment which I think is important so that we consider the report of the committee before going into statement of motion. Mr. President, I so move for the adoption of this amendment. It's
Please go ahead, leader.
We just want to reorder the order paper by bringing in.
You have already, I think you have already done that. Just go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. The first business of the day is the presentation of a bill in the name of Senator Stella Odua on the National Religious Equity Commission Establishment, etc. Bill 2019. Mr. President, we may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Religious Equity Commission Establishment, etc. Bill 2019, SB 08, first reading.
National Religious Equity Commission Establishment, etc. Bill 2019, SB 08, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the second business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Muhammad Ali Ndume on the Constituency Development Fund Establishment, etc. Bill 2019. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Constituency Development Fund Establishment Extra Bill 2019, SB 14, first reading.
Constituency Development Fund Establishment, etc. Bill 2019, SB 14, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the third business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Robert Ajayi Borofis on the National Agency for Technology Incubation, Establishment, etc. Bill 2019. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Agency for Technology Incubation Establishment Extra Bill 2019, SB 18, first reading.
National Agency for Technology Incubation Establishment, etc. Bill 2019, SB 18, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the fourth business of the day is the presentation of our bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Aliu Magatakardawamako on the National War College Act Amendment Bill 2019. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National War College Act, Cap N82, LFN 2004, Amendment Bill 2019, SB 43, first reading.
National War College Act, Cap N82, LFN 2004, Amendment Bill 2019, SB 43, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly distinguished and respected colleagues, the fifth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Rose Oko on Compulsory Free Universal Education Act Amendment Bill 2019. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Compulsory Free Universal Education Act, Cap C52, LFN 2004, Amendment Bill 2019, SB 44, first reading.
Compulsory Free Universal Education Act, Cap C52, LFN 2004, Amendment Bill 2019, SB 44, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the sixth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Mpigi Barinada on the Private Security and Forensic Investigation Bureau of Nigeria Establishment, etc. Bill 2019. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Private Security and Forensic Investigation Bureau of Nigeria Establishment, etc. Bill 2019, SB 52, first reading.
Private Security and Forensic Investigation Bureau of Nigeria Establishment, etc. Bill 2019, SB 52, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my distinguished and highly respected colleagues, the seventh business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Betty Apiaku on the Police Act, Cap P19, Laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 2004, Amendment Bill 2019. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Police Act, Cap P19, LFN 2004, Amendment Bill 2019, SB 91, first reading.
Police Act, Cap P19, LFN 2004, Amendment Bill 2019, SB 91, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the eighth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Bello Mandia on the Federal University of Agriculture and Technology Funto Establishment, etc. Bill 2019. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal University of Agriculture and Technology, Funtua, Establishment Extra Bill 2019, SB 150, first reading.
Federal University of Agriculture and Technology, Funtua, Establishment Etc. Bill 2019, SB 150, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the ninth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Suleiman Umar Sadiq on Federal College of Education Technical Kayama, Kwara State, Establishment Etc. Bill 2019. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal College of Education Technical Kayama, Kwara State, Establishment Extra Bill 2019, SB 151, first reading.
Federal College of Education Technical Kayama, Kwara State, Establishment Etc. Bill 2019, SB 151, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, the 10th business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in my name on the Federal University of Gashua, Establishment Etc. Bill 2019. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal University of Gashua, Establishment Etc. Bill 2019, SB 152, first reading.
Federal University of Gashua, Establishment Etc. Bill 2019, SB 152, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the 11th business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of Senator Jibril Issa on the Federal Medical Center, Dekina, Establishment Etc. Bill 2019. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Medical Center, Dekina, Establishment Etc. Bill 2019, SB 153, first reading.
Federal Medical Center, Dekina, Establishment Etc. Bill 2019, SB 153, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, the 12th business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Aliu Sabi Abdullahi on the National Commission for the Prohibition of Hate Speeches, Establishment Etc. Bill 2019. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Commission for the Prohibition of Hate Speeches, Establishment Etc. Bill 2019, SB 154, first reading.
National Commission for the Prohibition of Hate Speeches, Establishment Etc. Bill 2019, SB 154, first reading taken. Before I call on the leader to continue with the order of the day, Clerk, the chamber is unduly and unusually very warm. This environment is supposed to be better than this for us to function optimally. I don't know what is going on, but obviously it's looking like we have to battle with our debates as well as fanning ourselves. So somebody should check what is going on, really. Before then, I want to urge my colleagues to exercise some patience. They will fix this because something is really not right. I also take this opportunity to commend all of us, especially our committees, for working so hard, so well on the budget that we are working on, budget 2020. The ball is now in the court of the Senate Committee on Appropriations, the only committee standing at the moment. All the committees have done their work so well and have worked within the defined parameters, and therefore we expect the Appropriations Committee to galvanize into action and produce the report to be laid here on the 26th of November, next 2 weeks, before the Senate, and I believe that it's going to be the same thing in our sister chamber in the House of Representatives, so that we are able to pass the appropriation bill 2020 on the 28th of November by the grace of God. But everybody has done well. Appropriations Committee, the chairman is not here, but I believe that he is aware, and members of the committee are also aware, that we now have to work so hard to produce the report for laying on the 26th of November. Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. My highly respected colleagues, the fourth order of the day is the consideration of a report of the ad hoc committee on the investigation of the causes of the pipeline explosions in Komkom, River State, and Ijegun, Lagos State. Distinguished senators will recall that the report of the ad hoc committee was laid on Wednesday, 9th October 2019. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Ibrahim Gobir, who is the chairman of the ad hoc committee, to move the motion for the Senate to consider the report of the committee.
Senator Abdullah Ibrahim Gobir.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Ibrahim Gobir, representing Sokoto East. I move that the Senate do consider the report of the ad hoc committee on investigation of the causes of the pipeline explosion in Komkom, River State, and Ijegun, Lagos State. I so move, Your Excellency.
Senator Ross, can you second for him to move the motion, please?
I rise to support the motion. To second the motion that the Senate do consider the report of ad hoc committee on the investigation of the causes of the pipeline explosion in Komkom, River State, and Ijegun, Lagos State. I so second.
Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Please proceed to the report. Present the report.
Your Excellency, distinguished colleagues, as usual, my name is Dr. Ibrahim Gobir, representing Sokoto East. The report of this committee is a little bit bulky, but the intention is that then after giving the background, we just go into observation and the findings and the recommendations, because I believe this is going to make it a little bit shorter. With the permission of His Excellency and the Senate, can I do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
During the course of the investigation, we went around with the members of the committee in German House to condole with the people there of the individuals within that area. Then after that, we interacted with the stakeholders and the community in that area, and we moved to Lagos. In Lagos, we were with the governor, we condoled with him on the unfortunate incident, after which, of course, we went around to see the scene of the incident. And we were able to see for ourselves actually what happened. It was very pathetic. And it's unfortunate that thing happened that way. But if you open page 25, you will see the observations and the findings. Then from there we'll go to the recommendations. Item number 7. From the meetings, investigations, and interactive sessions held with the State Government of Rivers and all the other stakeholders, the ad hoc committee observed as follows. 1. That there exists system 2E and 2EX, parallel pipelines that are used to pump petroleum products from River State through Aba and up to Makati. 2. That there exists system 2B pipeline that transport petroleum products from Atlas Corp to Ejebo Satellite Depot down to Mosimi Area Depot in Ogun State. 3. The Oil Pipelines Act 2004 clearly defined that total route of pipelines indicating the width of right-of-way prohibits encroachment of pipeline right-of-way by unauthorized persons. 4. That bundles and saboteurs often tamper with the pipelines to siphon petroleum products for personal gains. 6. That people living close to the pipeline right-of-way out of poverty do go to scoop petroleum products from such leakages. 7. That River State explosion occurred on vandalized system 2 East or 2EX pipelines on Saturday 22nd June and 22nd June 2019. 8. That the Lagos State explosion occurred on vandalized system 2B pipeline in the early hours of 4th July 2019. That one occurred in June and this one in July. 9. That most of the pipelines are aged and need replacement. 10. That the incidences in rivers and Lagos states were avoidable if the NNPC/NPSC and the contractors maintaining and monitoring the pipelines were duty proactive. 11. That both NNPC and the NPSC and the UTM contractors were aware of the Concom pipeline leakage 2 days before the explosion, but delayed in taking necessary action. 12. That both the NNPC and the NPSC and the oil SARB contractor were aware of the intended activity of the bundles and the leakage a week and a day respectively before the Ijegun explosion, but delayed in taking necessary action. That the security personnel in connivance with the NPSC staff collaborated with the bundles to siphon petroleum products from the pipelines. 14. That there is a contributory negligence on the part of the NNPC and the contractors. 15. That the point of leakage that led to the explosion were few meters from the security posts. 16. That the Ogun shot, the gun shot by the police officer who wanted to scare villagers away and carry already scooped products by the villagers ignited the explosion and the consequent fire outbreak in the Concom River State incident. That the fire outbreak in Ijegun was a result of a distant and intentional spark due to the flow of petroleum products through the slopy drainages along the streets of Ijegun. 18. That lives and properties worth millions of naira were lost in both the Rivers and Lagos States incidences. 19. That up to the time of the visit by the ad hoc committee, no relief materials or any form of assistance were given to the victims, those who would destroy properties situated outside the right-of-way and the communities involved in the damaged vegetation or environment by the NNPC and the NPSC or the contractor. Nobody went. 20. That neither the NNPC or NPSC nor the contractors have attempted to clean up or remediate the contaminated environment for the safety of inhabitants of the pipeline host communities. 21. That the UTM contractor is not well mobilized by NNPC, that is NPSC, to enable them purchase modern equipment for proper monitoring of the pipelines, as they only employ manual monitoring system. That OSAP, the supposedly appointed security and maintenance contractor for the pipeline in the Lagos axis, have not been properly engaged by the NNPC because the agreement has not been signed. That there is no formal contractual document / agreement between OSAP and the NPSC. 24. The OSAP, since the period it was engaged through a letter of comfort by NPSC, has not been paid for services rendered. Hence, the ineffectiveness of the company to adequately provide security on the pipelines. 25. That the claim by NPSC of spending 383,203,550 naira, 50 kobo, 54 kobo, only on firefighting operation in Konkom is very outrageous and unfounded. That Article 3.1.12 of the contract agreement between NNPC and the UTM Offshore Limited stated that the contractor would provide asset protection and security services to ensure avoidance or prevention of undesirable acts, including but not limited to 1. Unauthorized intrusion, B. willful damage, C. right of way encroachment, D. crude oil product theft, E. illegal refining, F. petroleum products tapping, G. pipeline vandalism. So 27, Article 3.2 of same agreement stated that the contractor, in the event of product loss due to vandalism of pipeline and undesirable acts specified in paragraph 3.1.12 above, NNPC shall deduct from the product invoice, from the contractor's invoice, an amount equal to the established value of any product loss above the allowable contract tolerance for any pipeline operation period. That the Act established in NOSDRA only provides for penalties and offenders, but does not provide enforcement of the penalties. 29. That the pipeline host communities are not properly engaged in pipeline monitoring and security against activities from partners. I think those are the observations. We now go to the recommendations. The ad hoc committee, after exhaustive deliberation on submissions made by stakeholders and the first-hand information obtained at the on-spot assessment of the scenes of the incidences in both Konkom and the Ijegun, recommends as follows. 1. That the Senate do urge NEMA to immediately send relief materials to the fire incident victims of both communities, Konkom and Ijegun, to alleviate their pains. 2. That the Nigerian Pipelines and Storage Company, a subsidiary of Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC, should without further delay carry out proper assessment of the contaminated environments for immediate cleanup and remediation. 3. That the Nigerian Pipelines and Storage Company Limited, a subsidiary of NNPC, and the contractors should carry out proper survey of the impact of the fire incidences on the communities, determine the actual number of recorded deaths, and pay adequate compensation to all victims and the affected communities. 4. That the NNPC should, without further delay, embark on horizontal directional drilling, HDD, in relaying pipelines, especially in identified hotspots where erosion has exposed the pipelines to surface so as to conceal them from vandals as earlier advised by Lagos State Government. That NNPC should involve members of the host communities in the pipeline surveillance within their various areas as an interim preventive measure. We go to the instruction. That NNPC, that's number 6. NNPC should, as a matter of urgency, install pressure monitoring devices and shut-off valves at close intervals on all petroleum product pipelines
across the country. 7, that NNPC should reevaluate their security and monitoring outfits on the pipeline route across the country. Number 8, NNPC should immediately evoke Article 3.2 of the contract agreement entered with UTM Offshore Limited to issue a query to the company and provide evidence of compliance to the Committee on Downstream Petroleum Sector. 9, that NNPC should immediately formalize its contract agreement with Oil SAP on pipeline surveillance and provide evidence of compliance to the Committee on Downstream Petroleum Sector. 10, that NNPC should start the process of deploying modern technology in pipeline surveillance and detection of leakages, as well as introduce cathodic protection on the pipelines. 11,